Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Blaze Black 2. Over the past 147 episodes, we have traveled the Unova region, battled many trainers, defeated many foes, and caught hundreds of Pokemon. This time, it all comes to an end. This is indeed the last episode of Pokemon Blaze Black 2, and we will be taking on our rematch against the Elite Four and Champion. Gonna hop into my party really quick right here just to point out that the party is identical to the first time we faced the Elite Four 30 episodes ago. However, they are all level 100 because they've gotten quite a few levels across the board going through this post-game here. And it's kind of crazy because the post-game, even though is accounted for about a fifth of the total number of episodes, it is actually accounted for about a third of my total gameplay time, which is insane to me. Anyway, we are heading in here to the Elite Four once again, and man oh man, it is crazy to be finally doing this. Do you know Thunderbolt? Was his first greeting to me. It wasn't until after we battled that I learned his name was Volkner. That's part of a novel I wrote. I absolutely love writing about the close bonds between the trainers and the Pokemon that I've competed against. Could I use you and your Pokemon as a subject? It is just crazy to me how I'm actually recording the final episode of gameplay for Pokemon Blaze Black 2. As most of you are probably aware, this series has been going on for a long time, about 11 months at the time of recording this. In fact, a little bit longer than 11 months at this point, and I am very surprised that I didn't lose heart midway through it, just because capturing all 649 Pokemon was a huge, huge challenge. And I'm pretty sure about a third of my total gameplay time in this series was probably dedicated to catching Pokemon, which means if I had not decided to go into capturing every single one, the series probably would have ended a good 40 to 50 videos ago. I'm pretty confident. Like, it's crazy. I don't know if it's exactly that much, but a lot of time went into capturing all of these Pokemon. And I'm really impressed with myself that not once did I actually use the fast forward button. It's important to make a good first impression on your opponent. Oh right, I have that disabled. And it's kind of funny because, like, I don't even have the fast forward button mapped to my controller, like, at all. I've tried, and it's kind of crazy because you'd think for someone like me having to go through capturing all of these Pokemon, I would have tried using it at least once, but believe it or not, I actually haven't. And I know we have to go on the honor system since there was a lot of off-screened stuff in this series, but seriously. Plus, I kind of view using the fast forward button as kind of cheating a little bit, so that's mainly the reason behind that. I just didn't want to cheat it at the very, very end, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm just not sure what there is to say at this point, just because we have been going through this game for so long, and we have done so much in this series. In fact, when I began this series, Pokemon Sun and Moon had not even been announced. In fact, the new forms of Zygarde that are debuting in Sun and Moon had not even been announced. It's just crazy how much we have gone through in this series just together, and in fact, they've revealed quite a bit of stuff for Sun and Moon that I haven't gone over yet in this series just because I haven't had an opportunity to, although most of that is due to the fact that we were busy doing lots of other things, and a lot of it's just revealing new Pokemon, which I find very, very odd. We know 25 new Pokemon for Sun and Moon, but aside from that, we know very little about this game, which I find definitely a bit odd if you think about it. Alrighty, I think I'm going to send in Garchomp here. We'll see what we can do right here. We just need to get that air balloon popped, and then we can start spamming this thing with Earthquake. Now, it is worth noting, these battles are probably going to take a little bit less time than our first time through, basically mainly because we over-level these opponents by quite a bit more than we did the first time we went up against them, so These battles might be a little bit shorter, but I think that's probably a good thing just because I plan on also doing the champion in this episode. You'll also notice I'm not doing the whole team member moves and abilities, held items thing, and that's mainly just because the sources I have, it's the last chapter, my last Pokemon. The source I have, which is the included documentation for the hack, it's full of errors, let's be honest. In fact, I'm pretty sure we became aware of an error the last time we went through the Elite Four, and to go through the actual game data and find this information would be a little bit of a nuisance. Plus there's the fact that, honestly, we're probably not going to have trouble with these guys. I mean, considering how far we outlevel them, I really want a happy ending this time. I hate endings that leave a bitter taste. Considering how much we overlevel them, I don't think it really matters to know what they've got packing behind them, because we're probably going to win regardless. Like we just did. Wow, I'm stunned. For all the words I know, I can't figure out how to say this. Putting my feelings into words would just be, all I will say is you're even greater than text scrolling too fast. Oh, that's one of my main complaints about Generation 5. I'd love to read it, I just can't, you know? All the Pokemon on both sides battled so bravely, even though they got hurt. Thank you. With that, one member of the Elite Four is down. I am going to be healing up our Pokemon, and then I will meet you guys back here to take on the next trainer. Alrighty, everybody is healed up. Up next, we enter this chamber, and of course my repel from last episode wears off, because that's fitting. I always found this chamber to be really, really creepy. Life is a serious battle, and you have to use the tools you're given. It's more important to master the cards you're holding than to complain about the ones your opponents were dealt. Let us begin, and may the best trainer win. Contests like this are proof that you are really living. I gotta say, although I really do like Chantal and the fact that she's an author, I really like Grimsley's demeanor. The fact that he has all these very philosophical things to say. I don't know, I just felt like I could connect with a lot of the things he has said over the few games he's been in, and for that I just really, really like his character. Anyway, we're opening up for Lucario for this fight just because all of this guy's Pokemon have a weakness to fighting, unless there's one I'm forgetting that somehow neutralizes it. Tyranitar is definitely not one of them because it has a quadruple weakness to fighting. In fact, we might still one-shot it. That was close. We're probably going to have a heal come out right here, and I do have to say, I'm really glad that there hasn't been... I never thought you would use that move. Not a bad choice at all. I'm really glad there hasn't been a huge amount of AI opponents healing at inopportune moments in this series, because that was the one thing I really despised about Liquid Crystal. In fact, I'm pretty sure that fact alone probably added about 5 episodes to that series. Every single trainer could heal on you, and it was so annoying. So I'm really glad that that is, for the large part, not present here, because that was something that was really quite frustrating in that series. And speaking of that series, I think I remember saying near the tail end of that series that I never planned on having a series go that long again, and yet here we are with a series that is about 40 episodes longer, right at the end of this one. Like, it's so crazy to me, although I think I can say with a higher degree of certainty this time that I am going to make a special effort not to play games of this length on the channel for a little while, because I do have to say, doing the same game for 11 months, while it is fun... Oh wow, it was an illusion. While it is fun to play Pokemon, like, you do get burned out on it. We can't deny the fact that we've been playing this game for a long time, and it has been, while a very fulfilling journey, a very long journey, and I am definitely ready to move on. And oh my god, we survived with 2 HP, that's crazy. That's not to say I don't like this series, because I certainly have very much enjoyed this series and recording it and playing it for you guys, but at the same time, it's been a long... We'll be philosophical about this. It's been a long day, and it's time to go to bed. It's time to put Pokemon Blaze Black 2 to sleep, because it has been a journey. Sorry for the jump cut there, I just totally choked on some dust there. And unfortunately with OBS, you really can't... Wow, voice crack, man, this episode's going really well. Unfortunately with OBS, you can't really separate the audio from the video, which is kind of an annoying aspect of this software, I guess. I'm surprised it actually took 148 episodes for that to actually happen, although one thing I can say is I have not, I believe, actually sneezed during a video yet, which I think we can be very, very impressed by. But anyhow, we're going through Grimsley right here, and hopefully I don't inhale any more dust right here. Those who give up on themselves can never claim victory. But yeah, of course that had to happen right here at the end, because why not? Although I do seem to remember early on in the series a cat jumping up onto my desk while I was recording a video, so I don't know, with a series this long, it's bound to happen, let's be honest here. Which Pokemon should I raise? Which move should I teach my Pokemon? What items should I give my Pokemon? You need to think everything through very thoroughly. In that sense, you're very impressive getting money for winning, because this game scrolls text way too darn fast. There are bad ways to win, and good ways to lose. What's interesting and troubling is that it's not always clear which is which. A flipped coin doesn't always land heads or tails. Sometimes it may never land at all. Man, I love Grimsley so much. He's such a cool guy. Anyway, with that, I'm going to heal up once again. Alrighty, we are all healed up. Let us head on to our next battle. Now, I gotta say, this character, again, is just so interesting to me, because this character was introduced in Pokemon Platinum. It's just so bizarre to me how they decided to reuse this character, and you have to wonder if it was planned from the start. It's just a very, very odd connection. It's me who appeared when the flower opened up. You who have been waiting. You look like a Pokemon trainer with refined strength and deepened kindness. What I look for in my opponent is superb strength. Please unleash your power to the fullest. Alright, Caitlyn. I definitely plan to. Alrighty, so getting this third fight on here, I've decided to open up with Mandibuzz simply because Mandibuzz has the type advantage. There's really no other reason than that. And I do have to say, Mandibuzz is the one Pokemon that was actually suggested to be on the team by someone else, and it was not me. Turns out this Pokemon was actually suggested by my good friend Rio the Lion, who also likes to make YouTube videos and has frequently guest starred in certain series on this channel. I will show you how harmonious my Pokemon and I are. And I just really, really have to give him a shout out on this one, because without all of his encouragement over the very, very long course of this series, I'm not sure if I would have been able to complete the whole darned thing, but here we are at the very end, and so I have to say I'm very, very grateful for all of the help and encouragement he's given me with, like, checking for errors and typos and things like that, and watching the series and suggesting Pokemon like Mandibuzz right here. Like, just everything he's done. It's really incredible. Anyway, right here, got Dark Pulse coming out on Rheoniclus right here. Now, unfortunately, Mandibuzz isn't the most offensive Pokemon in the world, but it has really, really surprised me with its defensive power. Like, it just took a thunder to the face right there, and I do have to say, the opponents in this game, I'm not sure, but if we looked back over the course of the series, I can't recall a single time where the AI actually missed Thunder. Which really, really bothers me, just because of how ridiculously unlikely it would be for Thunder to actually connect every single time. But here we are, and somehow it's happened. It really blows my mind. It's kind of like, I'll just chalk it up to the computer being cheap, because let's be honest, the computer is always cheap, and I feel like Generation 5 in particular is especially guilty of this. Especially in, like, the Battle Subway and the World Tournament. There's a lot of stuff that the computer just gets off, and you really, really feel like it shouldn't have gotten it off as much as it has, but, I mean, oh well, I guess it makes for a challenge, although a bit of a cheap one at that. Alrighty, gonna dish out even more Shadow Claws right here. And, like, again, it's just crazy how far we've come in this series. Like, I'm running out of things to say just because I feel like this series is so long. It's all already been said, if you know what I mean. It's just... In case you guys couldn't tell, I'm really just taken aback at the fact that we are actually recording the last episode of this series. Like, I can't get over it. It's crazy. Like, man, 148 episodes. Like, that's just crazy. It just blows my mind. Now, I guess while we're here, I might as well point out that there is another Let's Play going on at the channel at the moment, and this is a very in the times type of thing to talk about, so if someone's rewatching this far later, it won't really matter to them. But anyone who's watching soon after launch will know that there is a second Let's Play going on the channel alongside Pokémon Blaze Black 2 at the moment. And I should probably point out right now, I've decided that that series is not going to inherit daily uploads once Blaze Black 2 is over. Instead, that Let's Play is going to continue on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and the Blaze Black 2 slot is simply going to become open, and there won't usually be anything uploaded in there unless I decide to do something outside of the main Let's Play, like a Minecraft video or something like that. And I figured I'd mention it now. Battling in extreme conditions like this makes me stronger. I figured I'd just mention it now because I'm sure that's a question on a lot of people's minds, but honestly, the post-game of Blaze Black 2 in particular has been very time-consuming to record, so I think you all will definitely understand when I say I really, really need to lighten up. I will control my emotions and use them to obtain victory, or whatever Caitlyn just said with the fast-scrolling text. But, like, yeah, I just have to point out that I need to lighten up the channel schedule a little bit. So once Blaze Black 2 is over, we're going to be toning it back a little bit. As impressive as always. No, you and your Pokemon were even more elegant and excellent than before to be able to please battle me again sometime. Again, I'd love to read this text, but I just can't. Alas, even with the knowledge and skill passed down in my family of trainers, I still can't win. The reason I came here in the first place was to encounter trainers like you. I gotta say, the effects in this room are really, really cool. Anyhow, with that, I'm going to hop back into our backpack and heal up once again. Alrighty, now that we are all healed up, let's head on to our final fight. And I do have to say, having edited 147 of these so far, I've noticed that I've disproportionately chosen the word alrighty to come out of jump cuts with. And I'll be honest, for the longest time that was not intentional, but I think nowadays, whenever I've been doing it, I've just been doing it to sort of perpetuate some sort of joke, I guess. I thank you deeply for the chance for another round of combat against you. In myself, I seek to develop the strength of a fighter, and shatter any weakness in myself, prevailing with the force of my convictions. Victory, decisive victory, is my intention. Challenger, here I come. The last of the Elite Four. Here we have Marshall. And I do have to say, of all the Elite Four members, Marshall is probably the one I like the least. Not for any particular reason, but just for the fact that I feel like he doesn't have as much to him as other Elite Four members. Yes, he trained underneath Alder and things like that, and that's definitely something respectable. But, like, Chantal will have different text every time you talk to her because she's written so many books. And Grimsley, I just feel a very deep connection to his philosophical musings. And Caitlyn was introduced in Platinum as just a very interesting idea, but Marshall just really... I don't know, he just doesn't really do it for me all that much, I guess. Anyway, I'm opening up with Victini here because Psychic coming out of a level 100 Victini, that's gonna do some damage. I think we can all agree on that. And wow, it actually took that. Like a champion. Luckily, Stone Edge actually missed. Oh, strong as usual. That makes my heart dance. And IU, Marshall. Of course, we're gonna have the full restore coming out right here, but the nice thing is, now that it has been used, it is not going to be used again, which is very, very, very nice. Alrighty, so let's take him down here. Can we get a high roll on the damage? Oh wow, we actually can. Nice. That's not something that happens very often. Alrighty, up next is Mienshao, which is... I think I've mentioned this before, but Mienshao is probably one of my favorite Pokemon. Again, I'm not really sure what it is about this Pokemon, I just really like its grounded and yet out there design, because it feels like a Pokemon, but at the same time, it's got a very unique design that just doesn't remind me of any other Pokemon in the series, which I think, especially in terms of Generation 5 Pokemon, it's definitely a very respectable trait when a Generation 5 Pokemon doesn't remind you of another Pokemon in the series, because even though I'm not one of those people that dislikes a large majority of the Generation 5 Pokemon, in fact, I really like most of them, you can't really deny that a lot of these Pokemon in concept were lifted almost directly from previous Pokemon in the series, and I can get why they did that, because of the way Pokemon Black and White set up using all only new Pokemon. But yeah, like, it's very respectable when a Generation 5 Pokemon doesn't remind me of another Pokemon previously introduced in the series, just because of the design philosophy that tended to be behind most of these guys. Now, one thing that is unfortunate is a lot of this guy's Pokemon are, of course, packing ground and rock-type moves, which are definitely good counters for the guys that I would normally bring out right here. And again, we see Mandibuzz's incredible bulk right here, less than half damage from a Stone Edge from a force that powerful. I think that's definitely a respectable defensive power right there, if you get what I'm saying. Alright, we got Mienshao coming out right here. Can we outspeed this one? Unfortunately, no. That's one thing about Mandibuzz, is that it's surprisingly slow, although I think Fake Out's actually a priority move. Oh wow, we actually are faster than it, that's right. But yeah, there's Fake Out and one other move. And there's one other move that is like, what is it? It's like Sucker Punch or something like that? It's just, there's this one move that's very similar to Fake Out. I don't remember which one it is off the top of my head. But that one, I don't think is a priority move. I don't know what it is, but let's be honest, there's like 600 moves in the game right now. And there are some that I've just never even heard of or just can't even remember. Like, for example, there's a move introduced in Pokemon X and Y called Rototiller. I have never seen this move used in the game. The only way I found out about it was because I hit a random page on Bulbapedia and it took me to the page on this move. Like, it's crazy. And I have a feeling Generation 7 is simply going to perpetuate this, just because there are so many moves in Generations 6 and even 5 at this point that I just don't remember ever seeing in the game, ever. It's just really amusing to me. Alright, Conkeldurr is down. Up next is Lucario. I don't think this is his last one, although it might be. It is. I may have only one Pokemon remaining, but its strength knows no limits. Alright, it's got an air balloon, but luckily, not only are we packing Earthquake, but we're also packing Flamethrower, which is definitely going to bring this guy down in short order, especially since Lucario is another Pokemon who has been, I don't want to say underwhelming to me in the defensive department, but there have been a lot of times where my own Lucario has gone down to less than I feel like it should have. I'll put everything I have into this next move, unless I outspeed you, of course, which I do. And down goes Marshall, the last of the Elite Four. And I have to say, that went a lot quicker than our first round, because we're only about a half hour into this recording. And you know what? I'm not even going to try and read this text just because it scrolls so darned quickly. Aye. And of course we're getting all this money, and I have no use for it. The strength shown by you and your Pokemon has deeply impressed me. Please continue to the next room to face the strongest trainer of the Unova region. Yes, indeed. Of all the opponents that we have faced thus far, only one remains in the entire series. The team has been healed. With this, we proceed to our final battle. Man, it is still just so crazy to me how after all this, we're at the end. This is the true final battle of Pokémon Blaze Black 2. Welcome, Challenger. I've been waiting for this. Were you expecting me to be the champion? Some didn't. Some said there was a 0% chance of it happening. But here I am. Here we are indeed. The trainers who come here are trainers who desire victory with every fiber of their being. And they are battling alongside Pokémon that have been through countless difficult battles. If I battle with people like that, not only will I get stronger, my Pokémon will too. And we'll get to know each other even better. Okay, brace yourself. I'm Iris, the Pokémon League champion, and I'm going to defeat you. This is the true final fight of Pokémon Blaze Black 2. Everything comes down to this fight. And I'll be honest, I don't really think it's going to be that difficult. Like, I know people are expecting like this crazy final battle, but I think the Hilbert and Hilda fights are easily the most challenging fights in this hack if you do not count the Black Tower or the White Tree Hollow, because those guys are packing Pokémon in the level 100 range. And in fact, if you go against them in the challenge mode, since the challenge mode simply applies a flat level increase to like 90% of the trainers in this game, the pain of my Pokemon, I feel it too. Those trainers in challenge mode can actually pack Pokemon that are in excess of level 100, and it's not something you're going to see if you face off against Iris, although I believe in this hack, challenge mode Iris will actually use Latios and Latios against you, which is really insane. I haven't gone over the challenge mode in too great detail in this hack LP, just because it would be a monstrous task to do so. Plus, I feel like even though there are some errors in it, the documentation that comes with the hack is probably pretty reliable in this regard, and holy crap, that did a lot of damage. Yee. Maybe opening up with Garchomp wasn't the best idea, but Garchomp is probably inarguably the most powerful Pokemon on our team, so I figured we might as well go for it. Anyway, gonna bring out Gastrodon right here. If we can take an Outrage with Gastrodon, that would be very helpful. Please stop. There we go. Nice. Alright. At least we got one Ice Beam off right here, and I don't think that berry's gonna do much because you're already down to a sliver of health. Alrighty, up next is Superior. I think I'm gonna switch to Victini for this one. I'd like to get everyone a little bit of screen time in this fight, and I think just by the nature of this fight and how difficult it's going to be, I think that's probably just going to come naturally. Anyway, we got Superior right here. Expert Belt Flare Blitz is probably going to bring this guy down in one shot unless he's packing a Focus Sash. I think there's no other way he's going to take this hit. Indeed, there's the Focus Sash. Should have called it, but, you know, there we go anyway. For some reason it's packing Aqua Tail, although I guess Victini is a pretty common usage in this game, so makes sense that we had it used right here. We can use Flare Blitz again just because we're only going to take like 1 HP of recoil from it, since we only have to basically give Superior a little bit of a tap and it'll go down. There we go. Alrighty, up next is Lapras. I think I am going to switch in Lucario for this to take advantage of its fighting type weakness, and then we will go from there. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned it the first time we were in this battle, but holy cow, I love the battle background in this area. Black and White 2 in particular really went above and beyond with their battle backgrounds, and I feel like X and Y were probably on about the same level as these, except, you know, a little bit more technically impressive. And I really hope that Sun and Moon can really do some crazy over-the-top stuff with their battle backgrounds, because with the 3DS, the possibilities are really endless, and I'm really excited to see it. Alrighty. Can we take it down in 2 Aura Spheres? I'm not actually sure. We actually can. Very nice. Got a high damage roll right there. And up next is Hydreigon. Who am I going to send out here? I think I'm going to send out Magnezone just because I feel like not very many of Iris's Pokemon are actually weak to Magnezone. Although, now that I think about it, Lapras was. So we're just going to send out Magnezone against Hydreigon here and see what we can pull off. I'm actually going to try and poison this guy if I can get lucky, although the fact that it knows Fire Blast really doesn't bode well for us. Come on, take it. Wow, we actually took it even without Sturdy. And we got the Toxic off, which is very nice. And since I believe Iris has already used her healing, we should be okay to just unleash on her right here, although I'm pretty sure this guy's fast. Oh my god, we got the Quick Claw! That actually hasn't happened in a while, getting a clutch Quick Claw, although to be fair, we haven't been doing too much battling in recent episodes. In fact, I think the last time we actually did an on-screen battle of any kind was like 3 or 4 episodes ago when we were doing the Hidden Grottos. Everything else was just... any battles I did I cut out just because we didn't need to show them. Kinda crazy when you think about it. That's one thing I can definitely say, since we went for 100% on the Pokédex, that added probably a good 25 to 26 episodes just right there, because you can cut out the episodes where all we did were get Pokemon for our Pokédex, and I'm pretty sure there's at least 25 episodes that are exactly that. Not to mention all the time spent in actual progress episodes, battling Pokemon and things like that, because had that not occurred, I probably would have used a lot more repels in this series, let me tell you. So yeah, I feel like the fact that we tried to complete the Pokédex added a lot of time onto this series. It's really crazy. Alrighty, can we take down Excadrill in one shot? I'm not sure if we can. Oh wow, we did. That's impressive. And I also really like how they gave Iris an Excadrill in this hack. It's very fitting. Anyway, I don't think Mandibuzz has seen usage in this fight yet, so we're going to be sending it out right here, although it's possible that it has, and I just forgot. But I don't think it has. I'm not sure what it'll be able to do against a Dragonite of all Pokemon, but it's worth a shot. I'll hone my mind and become one with my Pokemon. Alrighty, I'm gonna just go right for the big guns and use Brave Bird on this guy. I think Brave Bird is probably a good bet just to do it. Wow. That thing took that move like a champion. I'm a little bit nervous for that reason. I'd really like to get through this entire fight without doing any healing, because I believe the first time we did this battle, I did have to heal once. I'd really like to not have to do that, just because it's a really nice feeling when you can take down a fight like this without having to heal once. Luckily, we got Poison to connect twice, which is really nice, because I've had times where I've had Toxic miss multiple times for no reason in my personal playtime. And it's really nice having a 90% accuracy move actually feel like it's 90% accurate instead of, like, I don't know, 40% accurate. Anyway, we're chipping it down right here, and it hasn't actually outright attacked me yet. No, not yet. No, we can fight on. In fact, if we can connect this attack... oh, that's gonna one-shot. It's Dragon Danced like 4 times. That's gonna one-shot me unless we get very lucky or the bulk wins out. Nah, unfortunately it didn't. But I think at this point it is simply a matter of outlasting this Dragonite. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone here can actually take an Outrage, so it looks like we might be finishing this fight with no Pokemon on the field. Which is interesting. Let's hope we can outspeed it, at least. No, I guess that wasn't happening, but with that, regardless of the outcome of this attack, we have won. The foe's Dragonite was hurt by poison. The foe's Dragonite fainted. I gave it everything I had, but still, I just couldn't win. Thanks, though. We're gonna keep aiming higher. I'm upset I couldn't win. But you know what? More than that, I'm happy. I mean, come on. By having a serious battle, you and your Pokemon, and me and my Pokemon, we all got to know one another better than before. Yep, we sure did. Okay, let's go. Okay, go on ahead. Hurry. You've made it here again. Your name and your Pokemon's names will be recorded here so these important things will never be forgotten. That you are an excellent and kind trainer. That you are considerate towards your Pokemon, and you give them your whole heart. And that your wonderful Pokemon believe in their trainer with all their hearts, and together you have a strength that knows no bounds. Hey, come on. Oh, excuse me. David. To the trainer standing before me, and to the Pokemon at your side, your beautiful bond has grown strong through battle. In order to make this bond an eternal treasure, your name shall be recorded here. Final playtime, 138 hours and 33 minutes. With that, we are the League Champion. We have completed the Pokédex. We have saved the Unova region. And we have concluded Pokemon Blaze Black 2. Here we are again, at the end. And this time, it truly is the end. There is no more Pokemon Blaze Black 2. We have done everything. We have seen every single part of the Unova region. We have faced off against every single trainer I could possibly find. We have captured every single Pokemon that currently exists. It's over. And I'm amazed that it's finally over. Shocked and amazed. Like, seriously. It's just crazy to me how long this series has been. I can put the controller down after all this time, after so many hours, both playing the game, editing the game, working on stuff not having to do with actual videos, just keeping track of things, just everything about this game. This has been the most crazy LP that I've ever done, mainly because of its length and definitely its ambition. Like, it's just wowie, it's just insane to me how we're finally at the very absolute end of the game. Now, I should point out that this isn't the end. There are going to be a couple of bonus videos coming out this week just to tie up some loose ends. There's going to be a video where I give my formal thoughts and reflections on the LP and give credit where it's due to everyone who has helped out with this series. And there will also be a very short video that is going to link to something I've been working on in my spare time over the course of the past month and change so far. Anyone who's been following the series will know that I have been attempting to capture every single Pokemon in the game. I have succeeded, but no thanks to the included documentation of encounter tables that comes with the hack, because there are quite a few mistakes in that document, both minor and major, and recently I was looking over it, and there are some encounter tables that are just straight up not even there at all. And this is something that definitely frustrated me and led me to doing probably hours of Googling just to make sure I wasn't insane. So what I have decided to do is I have actually been going through the data for Pokemon Blaze Black 2 and creating a full spreadsheet with every single encounter table in the entire game. And yes, you can imagine just how much work that's taken so far, and as of recording this video, it isn't even done yet. But I've been going through all of the data and creating encounter tables for every single part of the game, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make this document a publicly available resource later on this week, so that anyone who's been having trouble with the documentation, or they just want something that's a little more accurate or easier to read or something like that, it will be publicly available for anyone who just wants to find a Pokemon on their journey, or anyone who is as insane as me to attempt to capture every single Pokemon in this game. And the nice thing about it is, in the comments of the video where I formally announced this project, if you do find any errors in the document, I will be on call to fix errors in this document, which is nice because the creator of this hack has gone pretty much silent since its release, and hasn't been available to correct such errors. I will do my best to do so, and provide this resource, and yeah, I guess we're just here at a black screen right now, practically, just because the game doesn't show the photographs from the credits a second time, which is kind of crazy to me. So yeah, look forward to that document sometime this week. It is a very large document, and meet me back here for the very final video where I give my final thoughts on this absolutely insane journey. But with that, for the last time, we have returned to Aspertia City. Our Pokedex complete, our journey complete, this Let's Play complete. Thank you all so much for watching.